Hello. Hi ladies. Myra Medhurst here. I think I'm up to day 33. Oh, powerful number. Welcome to my home. I love interior design. I love the beach Hamptons, country coastal vibe. For those of you who don't know, I live on the Sunshine Coast in Australia, in a location that is very, very special to me. It's like one of the access points to a Lemurian portal. And so I live a few hundred meters where I can walk to a tidal lake, and that lake flows in and out to the Pacific Ocean. So I can walk to the beach or I can walk to the lake, depending on what the weather and the tides are doing. Welcome in. Welcome to my lounge room. That's Yoda. Yoda in a helium balloon. That's left over from my son's 6th birthday party. It was a Star Wars theme. So baby Yoda is like using the Force to hold on. He's seriously like nearly 4 weeks old. Anyway, I want to talk business. Buzz nuss. So for those ladies that are interested a bit more in the enterprise piece, this is the training for you. And I'm going to talk about recruitment because I've just recently been through a big process of recruitment in the background. And I just want to take you behind the scenes and show you what that process looks for me, how I approach that part of my business. And I guess the experience I've had with the other companies I've had before, the Golden Path experience, what I'm really good at, what I'm terrible at, areas of growth for me. And yeah, a huge part of this is leadership. And so I've got a little kind of couple of, keeping with the Baby Yoda theme, I've got some Jedi Master tips and tricks for you about recruitment and about really calling in the soul-aligned team members that you need to help. You need help. You need support to build out your dream. So if you have a very big dream, you will need a team. And it's the team and that alignment and the energetics, which is very, very important to me. And if I don't get the energetics kind of squared off from the very outset, it doesn't matter how good they are. It doesn't matter what skills, what qualification. It doesn't matter if they've got the best references. If the energetics is not really solid as to why it is you even need the additional support, if you're not able to step into the leadership that is required to inspire and lead your team members, then you're going to have kind of short-lived success. It will kind of look good from the beginning, and then it will quickly fizzle out because you don't have that deep energetic piece. So going back in my business career, I had the special events management company. So I would be hiring a lot of people, but it was all very short contract work. Usually large teams, large groups of people, whether it was like for ticketing, registration process, occupational health and safety, traffic officers, artists, performers, musicians. So that's kind of a different process to what I do now. But that was all really quite fast paced. It would come off a lot of recommendations in the industry. And I'd say it was like very high turnover in that environment, in that industry. Then I moved into the restaurant business where I had a huge initiation process that was just so brutal. I'm really, really thankful for it though, because it just really made me the woman and the leader that I am today. But there's a few kind of lessons I had to get through just simply getting knocked down on the ground a handful of times and really kind of forcing myself to stand up after every single hit. But the restaurant had 10 full-time staff, a mixture of baristas, floor staff, cleaners, chefs, And then I had a pool of casuals, part-timers. And so they would come in either in peak seasons, holiday seasons, and more kind of high traffic trade days. And that for me is where I really had to learn from the ground up and truly understand people, what motivates them, their emotional state, because in the hospitality you have a high pressure environments and they can be very quick, very fast-paced environments. And so when the pressure rises in the business, people's emotional intelligence usually goes out the window. And now you're dealing with people that are just emotionally very, very unstable. So I really had to learn and anchor and ground so much of the vision and so much the parameters and the boundaries in which I stood for. Now I run recruitment entirely differently. Like, I'm probably telling you about the old world of that was more about the hard slog and less on the energetics that in the past just felt really, really dense. What I do now is, I'd say, energetic intelligence. And that is the first step. The first step. So there's a process I teach to my paying clients, which is called the cosmic call. And it's actually that which I start with, and it's about you as the business owner, or you as the healer, or as the leader, really claiming and letting the universe know, letting the other realms and the other kingdoms know that you are here. And it's called the cosmic call, and it's a signal. It's more than a signal. It's a very, very loud broadcasting message that I've sent to the universe. Here I am. This is who I am. This is what I stand for. And this is what I'm about to create. And you can come and watch me. And so I'm actually demanding and commanding the co-authorship of the universe at that point in that cosmic call. It's a very deep activation transmission process that I teach my students, and it is one of the very, very first steps. So once we've established the cosmic call, it's amazing how that energy begins to attract the people, the places, the opportunities, the clients, the money, the resources to you without doing any kind of the manual labor. It's like once the universe knows that you are back as a leading lady of the light, and you are taking charge and authority over your energetic systems, that you're building and strengthening the relationship you have with your cellular structure. Once those foundational pieces are really, really solid, it is amazing how many of the other worldly things just get taken care of. So I'd established my cosmic call, and I had just recently, I was still in the early years of giving birth and having Amos as a newborn. So it wasn't as if I was like up and running and throwing myself into the business. I simply did not have the spaciousness of time or availability of resources. But this is what I did. And this is such a leadership Jedi master move. But in Australia, when we give birth to a child, we get some money from the government. And so in Australia, in America, I think you call it the welfare system. I'm not sure if you get some financial support, but in Australia we do. We get some financial support once we have a child. And I use that money to pay my virtual assistant. So most people would use that resource and chew it all up in their own time. But I knew the fastest way to grow, the fastest way to get your vision, your mission up off the ground is it requires velocity. And to create velocity, you have to leverage time and money. So I was receiving money, which was not a lot, but I was receiving money because the Australian government provides that to the families of those with newborn children. Instead of using that money on my own self-care or the grocery bills, Ben was able to cover a portion of that. And some of the money I received, I was paying my virtual assistant My virtual assistant is based in the Philippines, so I'm not paying my home country labor rates. So my profit margin has now grown considerably. So what I can't do, my virtual assistant can now give me 20 hours a week. And I'm like, this is what got me up off the ground. And so I see such an important step for the women that are beginning, they're in the initial stages, is you have to think outside the box. You have to, if you do what the mainstream is expecting you to do, if you build your business out by what the old coaches and past systems on the planet, you will be too slow. You will exhaust yourself by the time you get to a stage of growth, and it will be too slow that a creative will get frustrated because they don't see their ideas come to fruition. So it's at these initial stages that you need to work very, very intelligently and quickly to get the feedback mechanism to tell yourself that your ideas matter, that your voice matters, and what you're doing is actually working. And that is then what I put in the confidence bank. It's like, cool, that worked. But in order for me to do that, I hired the virtual assistant up front. So most women wait a year or 2 or 3 until they've got enough cash flow in the business, until they get super busy and inundated and they can't even come up for air, and then they can't hire properly because they're so snowed under. So I hire very, very slowly now. Very slowly. So I hire slow, but I will fire fast. And I used to do it the other way around in the cafe, and it caused me all sorts of damage. In the cafe business, I was hiring fast. Well, quick. You're like, you need a chef. You got to replace it, or replace the barista because now they're going overseas to Europe for 5 months. So I used to hire fast and then be like, oh God, that employee, they're not being productive. They're actually draining the energy of the business. And I would hesitate. And I would sit on that employee and just watch them be lazy and just kind of accommodate. Now I fire very, very fast. So I've switched that paradigm completely. Hire slow, fire fast. So most people wait to hire when they're in the panic and they're overwhelmed and they're like, quick, I need help in the business. Whereas I hired up front. I was still breastfeeding Amos. It wasn't as if I was, inundated with work yet. And there is a part of this beautiful, energetic kind of piece of alignment of the right people coming to you once that cosmic call was established and broadcast out into the universe. How more into the tactics of hiring a virtual assistant. I'll drop the website below in the comments of the platform that I use. I strongly recommend virtual workers and assistants from the Philippines for over 100 reasons. Personality, culturally, their integrity levels, so much. And also the country themselves are very, very accustomed to working for Westerners. They're very accustomed to working for international businesses. They're very accustomed to working in a virtual way. I write all my position descriptions, and I'd use a lot of emotion. I'd actually use a lot of descriptive words, and I make my employment posts very otherworldly. They're not boring, they're not dry, they're not the stock standard. They would capture the right person because it's about me now. What I understand with the energetics is creating a world. I create the story and the energy, and I illustrate what my company stands for. I illustrate the energetics of my mission. I describe the ideal person that is going to fit this role. Do you see how this takes a lot of time? So this is a hiring slow process. The benefits of doing it this way are just beyond what you can comprehend. You have less turnover. You get the highest quality of staff who not only believe in me, they believe in the mission, they believe in the vision, and the ripple effects of that are felt all through the organization. It's like every time a client touches base with May, they are getting another soul signature of who I am. It's like May has done her soul's highest mission reading. She holds an energetic template of the mission and of the company and of the golden path experience. You're always getting a taste of Myra and her world when you speak and connect and send an email to May and when she's assisting you, because she belongs and is grounded in the ecosystem of the golden path. This is so different to how I ran the restaurant. My God, it's just like chalk and cheese. So the hiring process is very slow. I got over, I think, 2,000 applicants when I first put out a virtual assistant. Most people throw their hands up in the air at this stage and go, too hard basket, I'm not going to do it. But because I hire slow, I spent over a week quickly sifting through that, and I just deleted all the tire kickers and people that were wasting my time, and I just kept reducing it. I probably ended up interviewing on Zoom 3 people. I might have contacted 5. I interviewed 3. Now, this is, again, a Jedi master move in recruitment. Most people can't think like this. I hired all 3. I paid all 3 for 2 weeks, and I gave them assignments which were uniform. They all got the same assignments. I put testing questions in there, example of tasks and activities I wanted them to do. I'd put very interesting and intriguing things in there, so they actually had to read and think about what was on the kind of task list. Once you've read this email, can you please respond by 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and in your response, can you please attach an image of a purple elephant? Stuff like that. Because I want to know if someone can read, understand the task, implement it, execute on it, and come back to me in a timely manner. I interviewed them to understand their level of English, to see their personality, to connect with them energetically, and then all 3 of them I hired paid for. And then by the end of that, I was like, I've got my girl. I've got the person that is able to communicate and connect with me. And now I've gone through a similar process. So May has now been with me for over 3 years. She's done the graphics as well up until this point, and I know some of you have given me incredible love and support and positive feedback on the graphics. My graphics are not the stock standard. When I release a masterclass, when I release a new offering, when it's a temple night, you will see the level of work that I go to, that May goes to under my guidance, because the world of graphic design for me is not just pumping out graphics. I take this as a part of the golden experience. This is part of me as a creative. And so I see myself as a leading lady of the light, as one of the more refined, elegant, committed storytellers out there. So if you to go back and look at my graphics and see what May has done, you look at the detail, look at the layer. There are backgrounds layered upon backgrounds, layered upon energetic templates. The Fibonacci sequence is all coded through my graphics. There's sacred geometry, there's mathematical signatures, there's Greek symbolism. It just goes on and on and on. There's DNA double helix kind of embedded in different graphics. So that's the level of the mission that I go to, is energetically setting this cosmic call in every little nook and cranny of my company and of the business. Most people will not go to this level, but when you understand energetics, you would not want to do it you wouldn't be kind of enticed to do it any other way. It's like when you go to this level of building a solid energetic architecture in the business, in the mission, it's like, oh, so is that how you get so many clients? Oh, is that how you get people to your international? Oh, is that how you? Yes. So I'm selling way before I even utter the words that I've got something on offer. So selling is a very different experience for me, because everything has been creatively built upon in this energetic template, and it comes in from every single angle. Now, May started to get busier as the company grew, and so she is the virtual assistant, and she'd also split her time between being the graphic designer. That's a lot to hold when you're working with me and my energy. And so she decided, I love you, I'm staying put, but I'm going to focus just on the client support. I was like, thank you very much. Thank you for being so honest. It was a very clear, clean communication. And it was like, yep, I see what you mean. And I actually kind of even sensed it maybe like 3 or 4 months kind of out. I was like, I could see we were getting busier, and I'm like, this will be interesting. I'm not sure how we're going to manage this. And so once May was able to clearly communicate that with me, it was like, oh, that's a no-brainer. Just do that. Be in your genius zones. This is another thing. You have to hire people in their genius zone. I don't care what people have studied at university. I do not look for references or degrees or qualifications. I look for your soul signature. I quickly do your soul's highest mission reading, and I'm like, you're either a fit or you're not for the music and the song that I'm playing and that I'm bringing to the world. Keep people happy, keep people in their genius zone. May goes away. She loves hiking through the mountains and taking trips into the wilderness. I'm like, do that as often as you want. You have to support. I know May's hobbies. I know my employees' hobbies now. I know their family life. I know that whether they have both parents still living, whether they've got siblings, what they're passionate about, like what do they do on the weekends, what do they like to read. It's like this level of detail I go to. So I put a call out, a job post on that same website, the Filipino Online Workers, probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago, for a graphic designer. Solely just a graphic designer. We wrote the post. I got over, I think 2,000 applications again. And I quickly sifted them through. And on the first round, I picked out two women, 2 ladies. And again, same process. Meet them on Zoom, see how well they can speak English and understand and listen the concepts that I'm sharing, how I connect with their energetics. And then I hired both of them, and I paid them for a week to complete the same tasks again. And you know what? I actually didn't go with either of them. I was like, I'm not satisfied. Something is missing. And I said no to both of them. And I'm like, ooh, that takes a bit of a hit to do that. But I hire S.L.O.W. So yes, I'd say productivity has slowed down for me because I've got so many other projects and masterclasses and offerings in the pipeline that I haven't released. It's like they've just been holding and in a bit of a holding pattern because I'm like, the graphics are so important. I need to wait, and I trust this process. There must be some part of me that I haven't embodied yet. I've got to step more into my voice, step more into my leadership. I've got to heal some other part of my inner child. Like there'll be a bigger reason as to why this is happening. I loved both the ladies. I said, it's not up to scratch of what I'm needing. Can you please go away and get some more experience? And please come back to me in 12 months' time. And let's just see. Let's just have a conversation again. So I put that out, and I really like hiring women because I love supporting them financially to follow their passions and their creativity. But it was actually May who found another graphic designer application. And he's like, I don't know what you think, but it's male. I was like, really? You know, I'm like, okay. Let me look at it. Like, send it to me and let me have a look at it. And I looked at it and I was like, wow, oh my God. I was limiting myself so much. This designer was telling stories. And I'm like, that's it. That's the skill set I'm looking for. You cannot teach that to a designer. They've either got it or they don't. The ability to tell a story. This is like a moving motion picture for me, and it's just like we've freezed it just in one scene, and that graphic becomes still just for a split second. And that's the graphic that I put out into the world. But I see it living and breathing. Nothing in my world is static. Even if you see a still graphic, there should be a fair level of movement to it because I'm training the woman. I'm training the women that will understand me that this is an evolution. We are continually in movement. This is the spiral of the golden path. It's not a linear path, what I teach. It's not a static thing. And so I have to find a designer that can bring movement and evolution and storytelling that lives and breathes. It's like my graphics should have a pulse. They're alive. It's like you can't teach that though. And so I reached out to this guy. We met on Zoom. English is good, understand. You know what? This person deeply listened to me. And at the end of the Zoom call, I said, you are the most intelligent listener I have ever met. I said, you have a talent. You are a storyteller. And I was like, quick, like send in the sample tasks. And so he's done the samples, paid work, not guaranteed employment yet. But this is I'm just illustrating this. This is the level I go to. High S.L.O.W. Yes, you might get a little bit frustrated. Yes, other projects might have to go into a holding pattern for a bit, but trust the whole process because there is an energetic signature. And when all of that energetic work is in alignment, you will have such a greater, powerful transmission. That is actually what attracts more clients to your work. That's how you make money in your bank account. That's how you get a sale. That's how you build the community energetically all around the world. And I believe this is a huge part of my success, a huge part of my growth is understanding the energetics. This is like tactics, but on an energetic level. This is like ascended master, Jedi master playing field, like using the force is like Yoda, my little Yoda helium balloon is there. It's like, use the force, Myra. And so when people say, oh, can you teach me how to do business in the quantum field, in the 5G energetics? Like, what is that architecture like? It is like this. The ability to really anchor your soul's highest mission, send out that signal to the universe and broadcast your cosmic call, and then begin to understand all the energetic pieces that need to be set up to build a very, very solid foundation. And you can see May and you can see this potential other graphic designer very close, just waiting on another second draft of something, but it's blown the other two applicants out of the water. Entirely different skill set, the ability to emote and share story. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, they sense it. It's like they can sense the growth now. They can sense the potentiality. They can sense the possibility, because once all those jigsaw pieces get into place, it's inevitable. It's not a question of like, oh, I wonder if this will work. I wonder if I'll hit the 6, the 7 figures. I wonder if I'll get noticed. I wonder if anyone's listening. That is no more. That simply does not exist in my world. It's like when everyone is locked into that template, it is inevitable. I love teams that are small. Around 3 to 5 is my sweet spot. So I'm very, very close to hiring a full-time graphic designer, and I'll let you know how it goes. But this is the work I do behind the scenes on my business. I love these conversations. So for any of the more entrepreneurial business focused women in the group, watch this one back, and let me know if you implement stuff and what results you get. And it's just an extension. It's just an extension of my own healing. It's an extension of the embodiment of the woman that I'm becoming. It's an extension of me unleashing more of what my voice has to share. But understanding the energetics, so important. It's like, I just don't think, I know people are teaching this, but not enough in the business world, not enough. This is what is the sustainable pathway. It's the inevitable pathway. It must happen. Please share your comments or thoughts, or if you implement any of this, let me know how it goes for you. I would love to hear of your business success and growth. I'm like coaching people everywhere, left, right, and center now. I absolutely love it. And I can pinpoint very, very quickly where you're leaving money on the table. It's just like I see these kind of stagnant energetic pockets, and it's like, oh my God. How come you didn't call that person back? It's like they're wanting to pay you. And the only thing holding back all of those clients is actually just us. It's just us. And when we can stand into a leadership role where it's like I'm safe in who I am now. And once a woman senses that this woman is understood, there's a level of confidence that she's understanding her flame of personal power. That makes a woman move. It's like, I want that. What did she do to get that? That's what creates the community, the connection. That's what makes another woman going, yep, I am built for that too. I've got that too. And I'm just going to remove whatever is in the way to clear the template to make sure that I embody that. And you do whatever it takes. You get knocked down and you stand back up again and you go again. But the sisterhood in here will absolutely hold you. It's so safe to be yourself in here. The support and the love and the energy, that like the foundation on which this is built, I'm very happy with it. Very happy with it. Good things are coming. Good big things are coming. I love you. Let me know how you go with this class. And remember, follow your golden path. Follow that golden path. It will make a huge difference.